Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Tonight, President Trump hospitalized at Walter Reed Medical Center, where he's expected to receive treatment there for the next few days. We're glad you're with us tonight for Local 4 News at 11. Now, the White House not saying much about the president's diagnosis, aside from saying there will be no transfer of power to Vice President Mike Pence and that the president remains in charge.
Let's get right to the very latest here. Around 6 p.m., President Trump being moved from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center. One thing we do know, the president has been given an experimental antibody cocktail.
And just within the past hour, Kellyanne Conway announcing on social media she too has tested positive for coronavirus. She, a now former advisor to the president, but had attended several events with the president in the past week. Alice Barr is in Washington with the latest.
A snapshot in history, a masked President Trump trying to project business as usual in the midst of the most serious health threat to an American commander-in-chief in decades. Hours after the president announced he and the First Lady tested positive for COVID-19, he boarded Marine One for the short flight to Walter Reed, the nation's premier military hospital, for monitoring. The White House says it's a precaution. The president leaving behind this message.
I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out.
The White House physician said President Trump was fatigued but in good spirits and was given an antibody cocktail, an experimental drug meant to boost his body's immune response. The doctor says the First Lady has only a mild cough and headache. At 74 and overweight, the president is considered at higher risk for serious complications. Democratic rival Joe Biden tested negative today and made the decision to drop all negative campaign ads, sending his prayers to the president and First Lady.
This is not a matter of politics. It's a bracing reminder to all of us that we have to take this virus seriously.
The war for the White House now in limbo as the President of the United States joins the ranks of more than 7 million fellow Americans who've been forced to fight coronavirus. Right now, it's unclear how and when President Trump was infected, but at least 6 people who attended the announcement of his Supreme Court nominee last Saturday have now tested positive. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Okay, Alice, and stay with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for the very latest on the president's condition. We will have another report from the White House on Local 4 News today, beginning at 6 a.m. Our other big story tonight, the Michigan Supreme Court dealing a big blow to Governor Gretchen Whitmer, ruling she exceeded her powers issuing executive orders during the pandemic.
It was a split decision, but the court majority found the governor did not have the power to extend the state of emergency beyond April 30th. Jason Colthorpe following this tonight. And the big question tonight, Jason, is what does this ruling really mean?
Well, for one, Devin, it does not mean that all of the governor's orders are now out the window. Only certain ones, basically the ones since the end of April, and even those don't go anywhere right away. But overall, unless the governor wants to appeal this back to the Sixth Circuit, what it means is she's going to have to start working with the Republican-led legislature to craft any COVID restrictions going forward.
Since the end of April, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has been making decisions under the power granted to her by the Emergency Powers of Governor Act of 1945. But the state Supreme Court's 107-page opinion says no more.
They certainly decided the Supreme Court decided the 1945 law is unconstitutional, but it's not simple in terms of its implementation.
Brigadier General Mike McDaniel is the Associate Dean of Cooley Law School, specializing in homeland and national security law. He says until the previous federal judge rolls this decision into a court order, nothing has changed.
It's going to be 21 days after there's a final order from Judge Mahoney that these will have any legal effect at all. So people out there, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have to wear a mask anymore, or we can crowd into bars, or if you're a restaurant saying I can go back to 100% capacity, that's not so.
Be certain none of us believe that there's no more virus. That's not what this means.
Whenever the specific orders are rolled back, state Republicans like Representative Jason Shepard say it'll be good for everyone to have a say in how Michigan handles its fight against the coronavirus.
And I think most people in Michigan would have to agree that there should be some process. I don't think that anybody is comfortable with just one person making all unilateral decisions from now until an unidentified time.
And the governor, as you might imagine, had a quick direct response to this today. We want to show it to you and read it to you. She said, in part, today's Supreme Court ruling handed down by a narrow majority of Republican justices is deeply disappointing, and I vehemently disagree with the court's interpretation of the Michigan Constitution. Right now, every state and the federal government have some form of declared emergency. With this decision, Michigan will become the sole outlier at a time when the Upper Peninsula is experiencing rates of COVID infection not seen in our state since April. And the governor, it should be noted, the governor does still have some inherent power here, Devin. And when it comes to something like the UP, the way it's explained to me, she may have to refocus, be very specific with those orders through different departments to make those stick without the legislature in the meantime.
And we've had nearly 200 executive orders issued since the start of this pandemic. So you're talking about a very, very weighty decision. We will obviously continue to follow the legal fallout. All right, Jason. Now to a shootout outside a Texas roadhouse in Madison Heights that ends with a suspect dead and an FBI agent wounded. This was about 5 o'clock this afternoon near John R. and 12 Mile. Investigators say the agent was shot while he was trying to arrest a suspect who was wanted on a federal weapons violation. Witnesses say they heard more than a dozen shots fired.
I heard gunshot fire, 20 to 30 shots on each side, and I figured something was going wrong, and then I went to, got done walking, come over towards 12 Mile by Texas Roadhouse, and it's swarming with cops and FBI.
The agent is now in the hospital in good condition. Police as well as the FBI are still on the scene. In fact, they say they expect to be there all night collecting evidence.
Video shows intense moments between a bus driver and passenger on board a DDOT bus. It happened back on September 8th. The incident led to bus drivers across the city to walk out on the job earlier this morning after the city suspended the driver. Larry Spruill is live at Rosa Parks Transit Center downtown tonight. Larry, the city is defending that suspension tonight.
Well, Kimberly, DDOT says the driver threw the first punch and that forced them to suspend the driver. Now, there are arguments that the driver was defending himself, but the video shows a different version. Take a listen. This video showing a physical altercation between a bus driver and a bus rider is now the center of an investigation Friday night.
Well, it's been an extremely rough day.
Mikhail Oglesby, the executive director of transportation for the city of Detroit, says that's an understatement after 288 bus drivers walked off the job Friday morning, claiming unclean conditions and claims of an unfair suspension of their fellow bus driver, who they say is a victim of an assault.
What was clear was that the operator did strike the citizen, and that was a concern to me.
Local 4 obtained this video from September the 8th. Inside the bus, Oglesby says the driver asked the rider to put on his mask and waited for the rider to do so.
After a while, the driver doesn't pull off yet, and the rider comes up and makes a statement. There you have it.
The video appears to show the driver punching the rider first multiple times, even slamming him to the ground. You then see the driver sitting on top of him. Minutes later, the driver gets up and the rider staggers away. Now, I did speak with the union for the bus drivers, and a spokesperson tells me that this is just one of the situations that the bus drivers have been dealing with and that they are simply fed up. He tells me they will have a news conference first thing tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We're live downtown Detroit tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
And Larry, about the suspension, do we know how long the driver is suspended?
Yeah, Kimberly, so we're talking about 29 days suspension without pay pending an investigation. Yeah. Kimberly?
And we'll be following that press conference that happens tomorrow morning. Larry, we appreciate it.
Warren police are sharing disturbing details about the murder of a 6-year-old boy and his father's girlfriend.
This is just awful.
Yeah.
Police say they were found dead yesterday in their home near 9 Mile and DeQuinder. According to police, they were taken into the basement and shot execution style. The father was also found dead inside a burning car in Detroit. Police are looking for the killers and believe more than one person is involved.
A federal judge has ruled counting for the 2020 census must continue through October 31st. Now, that latest ruling comes after the Commerce Secretary announced October 5th as a target date for ending all of the counting efforts. The Justice and Commerce Departments have yet to respond to this new ruling that adds another month or so to that count. Now to the weekend traffic alert for drivers heading in and out of downtown Detroit this weekend.
Both directions of I-75 between I-94 and the Davison Freeway are now closed. MDOT is replacing the Milwaukee Street overpass above I-75. Everything is expected to be back to normal by Monday morning's commute. Still ahead, a school district issuing an ultimatum to some of its students.
Yeah, why they're telling students to return for in-person classes or else they will need to transfer to another district. Let's check in with Andrew.
And Kimberly and Devin, a chilly night ahead, a cold one in fact, with a frost advisory starting at midnight. That and yes, a new tropical storm, the 25th of the season. That and your full weekend forecast in minutes.
All right, Andrew, but first, a very dangerous situation on a Macomb County freeway. Sparks flying during a police chase. How it ended and who was eventually arrested when we come back.